Hey guys, it's Bekah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all things postpartum recovery and specifically answering a question that I have gotten maybe once or twice a week since I have had my baby. And that is, have I recovered from SPD and does it ever go away? So if you're unfamiliar with what SPD is, it's Symphysis Pubis Dysfunction. And I'll link my third trimester update video where I go into a lot of detail about what this is. And I share very emotionally what my experience with this was. So definitely check out that video if you want to get up to speed in what I'm talking about. But very briefly, SPD is basically when a hormone called relaxin is released too early, and it loosens the joints in your pelvis to cause a baby to come down. But when it's released too early, it can cause pretty extreme pain. So I spent the majority of my pregnancy almost immobile, and I should have been bedridden. I mean, it was a horrible, awful experience. And if you're new to my channel and you just stumbled upon this video, you probably know what I'm talking about. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. So definitely check out that third trimester video because I understand what you're going through. And I just want to bring some encouragement and hope in telling you that it does get better and it does go away. So there's my spoiler, but I am gonna go ahead and just dive into all the different points I'm gonna touch on. I first wanna touch on the first few days in the hospital because that's really when things turned a corner. So I'll also link my birth story video if you wanna watch that as well. I go into all the details about my birth, so definitely check that out as well. But I did have a C-section and I had an amazing experience. And I think because my focus and all of my emotions and mental capacity was being put towards this brand new baby and recovering from a C-section, there's so many things happening. I mean, it feels like you're in this whirlwind those first few days. The pain of my pelvis was kind of the last thing on my mind, to be honest. It wasn't really until leaving the hospital was when I noticed a difference, because that was the longest amount of time that I'd been up on my feet, really in 3 or 4 days. And so it's really not until you get home that I even noticed any discomfort or anything like that. And I think another thing to mention would be that you're no longer on any heavy pain medication. So that really tones things down a lot in the hospital as well. So once you're fully off of that, I feel like you're able to kind of be more aware of kind of what you're feeling and what you're going through. So once we were actually home, that's when I felt a little more like myself. I wasn't, again, on those heavy pain medications anymore. I was just on Tylenol and ibuprofen. And so, you know, I was able to get a better gauge on things. And it was the first time that I noticed that I didn't have hardly any discomfort in my pubic bone when I would get up to walk to the kitchen. And I was really intentional about taking it easy, but also making sure that I was getting up and moving, you know, at least for a little bit every day. And especially getting in and out of the shower, you know, before trying to step over the bathtub was excruciatingly painful. And I mean, 3-4 days post C-section, I was able to do it with very little pain. The only discomfort was the soreness from my incision. There was no pelvic pain whatsoever. And so that was honestly what I was so excited about. I wasn't even thinking about the pain from the incision. I was so focused on, I just stepped over the bathtub. It was such a big deal with no pain. You know, so even the smallest things I could tell a huge difference in. And even getting in and out of the car, I was able to, leaving the hospital, it was easier getting into the car than it was getting out of the car 39 weeks pregnant. So there were so many small differences that to someone else, it wouldn't really appear to be anything, but you know, okay, this is a big deal. You have no idea. Moving on to the first really 8 to 12 weeks of recovery. I feel like that's when the majority of your recovery happens. And I would say by 12 weeks, especially for a C-section. That was more than enough time for me to feel like things were fully healed. I wasn't having any more discomfort from the incision or anything like that. All of that pain had been long gone. So 12 weeks was a really good marker for me physically to kind of evaluate where I was at. And I feel like at that point, I was still able to feel maybe 10% of the discomfort that I had pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy. Only, I would say just 10% of that discomfort. And so that was huge for me. But a big thing was, well, how do I get rid of this 10%? I want to feel 100% recovered. And so, I feel like I should have done this sooner, but I waited until I think it was 6 months. 6 months postpartum, I decided it was time to see a pelvic floor physical therapist because I wanted that 10% gone. There were still certain things that I wasn't able to do. I've been really active, I've started working out, and there were certain movements like side planks, or if I was on my side, lifting one leg, doing an exercise like that was still uncomfortable for me. And I could still feel that like pulling pain in my pubic bone, and I wanted that gone. I decided, you know what? I want this 10% of this pain gone, and whatever it takes to do it, I'm gonna get it gone. And so I looked into pelvic floor physical therapy and was recommended by my doctor. I talked to my doctor about it. She got me set up with someone nearby, and I have actually been going to physical therapy for, I guess, 4 weeks now. And within the 4 weeks, I've been able to tell a significant difference. And I would say I've got that 10% pain down to maybe less than 5% at this point. And it makes me wish that I had started pelvic floor physical therapy sooner than 6 months postpartum. I wish I'd started at 3 months postpartum, or even sooner than that, to be honest, because there's certain things that I was able to really rebuild mobility. I was able to strengthen, and I think I have just maybe 1 or 2 appointments left, and I feel very equipped with different exercises and things that I can do at home that really, again, improve mobility and then strengthen those muscles. So a lot of it is rebuilding, and I think I didn't even know how much muscle that I lost and how much mobility that I lost in my pelvic region through pregnancy because I was so immobile. So, it seems obvious thinking about it now, but I wish I'd started sooner, but I'm so thankful that I'm doing it now because it has made such a huge difference in that little 10% that has lingered. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's encouraging. My advice to you, of course, I'm never gonna claim to be a medical professional, but if you still have any pain or discomfort, please talk to your doctor and tell them, I need to see a pelvic floor physical therapist. Because a lot of times doctors are not equipped in the knowledge of SPD. That's what I found. It's just not something that's talked about a lot. And so my doctor didn't know what to do or what it was, and just chalked it up to normal pregnancy pain. And it was definitely more than normal pregnancy pain. So definitely ask your doctor about physical therapy and let them know, I want to see a pelvic floor physical therapist. And they'll refer you to somebody, because this is one thing that I feel very strongly about. And then in addition to chiropractic care, both of those two things combined really do make a difference. And even my first week of PT, some of the exercises and moves that she had me do, I'm thinking, is this really doing anything? The smallest little things. And I can confidently say, yes, it does help, because the moves and exercises that she had me do at week 1 have been building on each other all the way through the month. And now I'm able to do some things that are a little more advanced than I was able to do at week 1. So it all builds, and just trust the process, because it really does make a difference. And if you are, I know for me, we're talking postpartum here. So family, I know you watch these videos, maybe just click out at this part, please. But you know, this is gonna be a little TMI, but with the pain from pelvic floor, talking about going to physical therapy and things like that, it can be more than just SPD pain. If you are having any trouble with urinary leakage or just different things like that that just may feel embarrassing to talk about, if you're still having pain with intercourse, you know, that was one thing my doctor talked to me about. So all of that is connected with SPD, and all of that's connected with your pelvic floor. So there's so many different reasons to go to pelvic floor physical therapy, and I just wish that I had heard more about it. I'll end the video with this. If you are currently struggling with SPD, know that you are seen. I know what it's like. I've been there firsthand, and it's not fun. And you're simply looking for someone who can connect with you and just relate and say, yes, I know what you're going through. So I hope I can be that person for you right now, and just acknowledging that this is hard and it's not fun, it's painful, but please know that it does come to an end and it does get better. I can't speak to the timeline for everybody. I know everybody's different, but I hope me sharing my process and my journey with it is at least somewhat comforting to bring some peace of mind to know that it does get better and life is not always gonna be this way. So please be encouraged. Know that I'm with you, I'm for you. Please DM me on Instagram. I've had so many of you reach out to me over Instagram, and I've been able to message with a lot of you and just talk one-on-one. So if you're looking for that, if you just need a friend, somebody to message and say, hey, this really sucks. What did you do here? What did this look like for you here? I would love to be that person for you. So please reach out to me over Instagram. I'll have my handle down below. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was encouraging and helpful, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.